I know losing one of your children. This was very tragic, and it's not that long ago. And how are you dealing with that? I mean, how's that on a daily basis? I know that altering substances are not your that's not your choice, and so I mean you've got to deal with it somehow. I mean, in terms of
Yeah, well, I am, and thank God for Arizona that I'm with you because couldn't be more perfect time. And right during that time, before he passed, was it before he passed that I told you about the prayer flutes, or was it after?
No, it was right. It was right after we talked about
Because
it.
I was thinking about it before that, 2 weeks before, and then he died March 7th, and I called you right after that because then it came to fruition in my heart. I have to do a prayer flute because honestly, the week after we had to wait for his funeral, people were wondering what I was doing. I had a couple friends watching me because they thought I was gonna alter myself or whatever. They were afraid, and I was very depressed. But I got over it. But I played flutes. I live in a little basement place, and I was playing my flutes, and it helped me to breathe. You know how people say when you're in trouble, you go, man, slow down, take a deep breath.
Right.
It's exactly what I did. I took a deep breath, and I played the flutes.
Good for you.
And it just, I'm a much better person for it. And it just got me through. If people would realize, just slow down. Just take it in, grieve correctly, cry when you have to cry, breathe when you have to breathe. And that's what I did. And believe me, the flutes, that's why I want to do this flute with you, the prayer flute.
Right.
And that's my next dream, is to put an instrument in your hands that you don't have to play all over the map, but that can be connected to me, and that's why I like wind instruments, but connected to your breath. And the breathe.
That's it. That's your life force, your breath. I mean, you're expressing yourself in the process. I mean, I know that spirit is a big part of your life, and your spiritual life has grown more and more so as I've gotten to know you throughout the years, and that's got a tremendous influence on you. But how does it influence your music?
Well, it does. That's a great question. I've never heard that from music magazines or anything. They usually ask me what kind of strings I use or what kind of amp I'm using tonight or what kind of mic. No, it amplifies my music. It gives it wings. It takes it above the storm, And I tell people this, and I learned this in Montana. It was 17 years ago. I was working on a film soundtrack for PBS, and you'll see it on YouTube now. I've heard pastors talk about it, but they didn't hear me, but it's out there. But this is what it is, Odell. I stood out there for 2 hours with this guy, and he says, "You got to stay in this canyon, dude. I got to show you something." I go, "What are you going to show me, man? It's beautiful out here." He goes, "There's 2 golden eagles that live out here, and golden eagles made for life." But he says, "There's a storm coming in too, and I want you to see what happens when a storm hits a golden eagle." Because he says, "You see these winds, and there were 65-mile-an-hour winds coming through this canyon. Every bird, including red-tailed hawks, crows, magpies, they were getting blown to the east by the wind.
Wow.
And the hawks went into the higher pines, and they got out of the storm pretty quick. Everybody got out of the way." He said, "Now those eagles, they're not here yet, so let's wait till they come and the wind will die down." So within a couple hours, I saw the 2 golden eagles. I go, "Okay," and we're watching them, and they're just gliding above there beautifully, and all of a sudden the wind kicked in. He says, "Now you're going to see something that you'll never forget. I hope you never forget." I said, "Okay." So I'm looking at these eagles. He says, "Check it out, man, there's the wind." And man, that wind was coming like 60 miles an hour. And the eagles, by instinct, they whipped around to face the wind. And they're facing the wind like this, almost sideways, but they're facing the wind. And not only they faced the wind, they locked their wings. And at that moment, it was like my life changed. I go, "What the heck did I just see?" When they locked their wings, they went straight up.
They flew right up.
Immediately.
Wow.
The wind, aeronautically, it does it.
Right.
Like a plane.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and they went straight up above the storm. He says, "Don't forget that, Bill, because someday you'll use it." And that's what my music does to me. When I hit on all chords, when I'm at a master level, so are you. I'm not saying the people watching aren't at master levels, but if you're a beginner, you're not. Just be cool with who you are, because the master level will come to you. And take tomorrow as a master level, because if you can hold a note long enough to hear it quiver, you're in a master level. Just keep going. But realize that through what you do in life, that you can rise above the storms rather than staying in the middle of a conflict and getting yourself beat up. And I've learned through music and through life and through prayer and the grace of God to rise above storms. I used to be the type to stay in there and fight. I used to be the type just, well, I'll
Right.
take it. No.
I like that. That's a great analogy. You know, as if in the storms of life come the wind of life, instead of hiding, open your wings and soar
Yes.
Above it. That's great.
that's
That's a great story, by the way, Bill. Don't forget that
Well,
one.
no, and I don't.
That's a
I tell
terrific
people,
story.
that's what you ask what does music do to, or what does my prayer life do to the music, and it feeds upon each other.
Right.
If I look even biblically, in every culture too, from the native people to holy medicine men, even before the warriors were playing music, people would realize in the Indian culture, it wasn't the others playing music first, it was the holy people.
Right, that's true.
They were singing their songs on those hand drums, they were taking the rattles and the flutes, and they were singing to heal others and to encourage other warriors. And then they took the music. It was the other way around. Same way in the Bible, King David was a musician. He was a messed up dude. I relate to David a lot because he was messed. He kept screwing up. You know, he's a musician. He finally came to a point where, this is the beautiful symbolic. Somebody told me this when I was at my son's funeral. It's the most beautiful thing I could have ever had. Because in the funeral, I got up there and danced for my son with 2 other warriors that were in full regalia, and I raised my eagle wing up the sky, and I blessed my son's wife. I gave her 3 eagle feathers. I prayed over her. I did nothing for the church, didn't sing, but we did it to the song praises that was on the speakers. And I was dancing for my son. And he said, Bill, I just saw something I never thought I'd realize. I said, what'd you see? He said, I saw God. I saw a blessing come down on you and the whole family because you were so selfless. I go, well, I was there for my son. And he goes, do you realize King David, when he lost his son, I think Absalom, who was, I think, of the woman that he cheated with, or he wrecked her life. But anyways, he was so broken. And his kingdom was coming down. He hid so much of his pain and his mistakes. And he had people, his prayer warriors, saying, you need to get over this crap. But he didn't. He held it in, and then his son died. So what did David do? He went out into the streets and he danced and praised the life of his son, not the death. He went and danced in front of the people.
Right.
And the very next day, the kingdom opened for him. It just, everything changed. His life changed because he was honoring.
He changed his
in
attitude.
dance and music. And I guess the lesson for me is to not stop because of career options. Because I did. I lost record deals and stuff. Not stop because you don't have any money in the bank. And that's been there for me too. There's been low. Do I stop playing music because of that? If I'm stopping because of that, because I've seen musicians do that, or they're going to lose their family, or they're going to lose. If you're going to stop because of that, then you're not in.
They're not doing it because they love music.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it's
no,
not
that's
a
true.
gift. It's not true.
Right.
And I'm not saying wreck your family and get divorced because of music. That's not what I'm saying. I hate that part of it. But it's part of the territory. Be ready. If you're a musician, you have to sacrifice a lot to take music to the world. And in the sacrifice, you do lose a lot. Yeah. But the gain is thankfulness. The gain is much more than the loss. I'm seeing that now. It's just so much more. It's not money. It's spirit. That's why I love your company's name. And I told you that earlier. It's not promoting your company or anything, but I love the name High Spirits because that's where I'm at.